second part of what we're working on today is being able to use a calculator to evaluate these trig functions. So the first thing I want to make sure that you are aware of is to make sure you're in degree mode in your calculator. And unfortunately, I don't have a functioning TI-84 Plus Silver Edition, but this is the calculator you will be using on the MCAs come May. And I wanted you to make sure that you were aware of that. And the big button we want to be careful, we want to know of, is this mode calculator. This is what is going to get your degree mode. And we want to make sure we're familiar with that because if you're in radians, which is another thing that you will use in pre-calc, you can really screw yourself up and get some really odd answers. Now, for purposes of practice in class, you want to make sure that you push, if you have the TI-30X2S, which is a very common one, is to push the DRG button. I will mark that down, DRG, because that one will make sure you're in degrees versus radians. Now, when we go back up here, I have the sine of 86 degrees. Now, when you're using either the graphing calculators or the 30X2S, where you can see all the operations on the calculator before you hit enter, you're first going to hit your sine button, and then you will hit your 86. Now, if you use one of the calculators that I have on the counter, or you use a different model of a calculator, you may have to hit 86 and then sine. We can decipher that in class. Now, when we get to writing out our calculation, we want to go to 4 digits. So make sure you make note of that. So when I hit sine of 86 degrees, I get 0.99756, so that means 9976. When I put in the cosine of 48 degrees, which the cosine button is right here, it says cos or cos, then I will put in the cosine of 48 degrees, and I get 0.66913, so that'd be 6691. And finally, for the tangent of 36 degrees, the tangent button is right down here, and I will hit the tangent of 36 degrees, and that will give me 0.72654, so 7265 will be the number that I'm looking for. Now, on the other hand, you may get where you have the sine of angle A is equal to 0.2250. This is where you have to use your inverse buttons. Now, if I look here, my inverse buttons, I see those right above the sine, cosine, and tangent, which means that I need to hit this second button first, and then that button. So here, this is saying that A is going to be equal to the inverse sine, or sine to the -1, of 0.2250. So when I put that in, the inverse sine of 0.2250, I get 13.002, so that means that mine is 13 degrees. We're going to go to the nearest degree, and you can write that down. Now, when I do cosine of A, that means that if I want to find A, I need to take the inverse cosine of 0.7193, and if I take the inverse cosine of 0.7193, I get 44.00328, etc., which means 44 degrees. Now finally, for the tangent of A equal to 1.428. That means if I want A, I need to take the inverse tangent of 1.428. So the inverse tangent of 1.428 is equal to 54.997, which means 55 degrees. Because since we rounded our decimals of what the tangent values are, when you do the inverse, you have to round back to the degree measure. Your job now is to go ahead and complete the you try problems, which are located right here. You have one of each, sine, cosine, and tangent using a calculator, and inverse, as well as finding the ratios. Bring those with your questions to class tomorrow. Do not forget to fill out your Google form, and have a wonderful day.